How's everybody doing? Good. Okay, I got thumbs up from Eugene, so that's good. Actually, I can't really see that many. How do I get? Here's all my participants. All right. Well, you know what? Why don't we start with something good? Who has something good to share? I know it's like 80 degrees there. That's something good, right? It's 93 here where I'm at today, so it's very hot out. How's everybody else? Do we have new listings? I would love it. In fact, if you have a listing that's been sitting for a while, throw the address in the chat. Let people see and check it out. We're going to keep letting people in here. More people popping in. Yeah, so if you need open houses, if you have listings that you want people to make sure that, see if they have buyers for, throw it all in the chat, you guys. That is what we are here for. We're a network and we're here to support and utilize it to spread our information, right? All right, well, let's move on. We are going to dive in to all of our fun stuff. We have June stack graphics out today. So check your emails. Your ASCs should have sent those out. Remember that those are editable. So you can go in and change them to your own branding. You can throw your logos on it, but show that you are the expert of your area. Post those so people say, oh man, that David Monroe guy really knows what he's talking about, right? Post it all over your social media. All right, critical conversations. Role play with Sydney is every morning, but there are no calls this week. So back on track Monday, July 20th. Definitely tune into those. He's using the exactly what to say information from Phil Jones. So be sure to tune into those, practice your scripts, learn what to say, be better at conversations. And there's the QR code right there. But again, not this week. Join next week. Tech Thursday, JC. I actually see JC's face here on my screen. Hello. We're so lucky to have JC that does all of these Tech Thursdays with us. They're at 10:30 every Thursday on Zoom. The QR code's right there. July 16th, build a free guide that earns you clients, creating a lead magnet with Canva and AI design. You guys, AI and all these tools that we have available are so important to your business right now. It's important for you to learn to stand out amongst everybody else in the area, get your listings to stand out, get yourself to stand out to your buyers and sellers. And the place to do it is in all the classes that we have. We have all of this information for you to learn this for free, right? JC is amazing when it comes to all of the social media stuff, marketing, Canva. And so she is the pro and she's showing you this stuff and how to utilize it for your own business. We have two more after that, July 23rd, July 30th, with more information for you. And if there's something that you want to learn in particular, if there's something that we haven't covered or we don't have a video from a past Tech Thursday, let your leadership team know and we will tell JC, or if it's another class, then we will do it there. But just let us know because we will take the topics that you want and we will make sure that we do something with that information. We will make sure that we get the topic out there, that we get a class out there, that we add it to Tech Thursday, whatever it looks like, right? But we can't do it if you don't tell us. So make sure that you tune in and learn all the things that you need to know to better your business. Ooh, see me, this class that she's doing. Here's another one that has amazing information. She was on with us 2 months ago explaining all of this and kind of giving a brief overview, but you can sign up with the QR code there. This is called the Agent's Edge, and July 22nd is the YouTube strategy, which is such a big and powerful tool for you to use. Tune in again, learn more about these classes that we have to offer you. This one is in person, but scan the QR code so you can learn more about it from 11 to 12:30 with CME on July 22nd. JC, do you know can you sign up for CMEs on a one-off, like just one class, or does it have to be all of them? You can do just one?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. That's great. Even better to know. So if you just wanted to learn about the YouTube stuff, tune into that class. And then the amazing Genine Wood, Director of Compliance for all of our offices. She's doing her Broker Power Hour Wednesday, 2 to 3. So that is tomorrow. Updated location. So this is actually going to be at the MLS office in Kirkland. So if you've ever been to the MLS office, that's where it's at. It's in the training room there. And oh wait, I'm sorry, not Wednesday. This is July 22nd. Is that right?
Which
Deal
is a
crack.
Wednesday, but it's in a week.
Okay. So don't show up there tomorrow. I'm so sorry. Show up there on July 22nd for deal crafting with Genine. All right, we have our luxury training call, you guys, Wednesday, August 5th at 8 a.m. This is a Zoom call. Has anybody seen Brady speak? He's awesome. He talks all about like the Ritz-Carlton customer service experience. It is top notch, which is really the service that we should be giving to all people, not just luxury training stale stuff, right? So this is for everybody, but this particular call is all about KW luxury. So this is open to all Keller Williams agents, and this is how to learn more about doing luxury real estate in your own market. There's the QR code right there. You can scan, ask leadership if you need any more information about this, but he's great. And then all of these things, all of the videos, the Tech Thursdays, our network meetings, Janine's contract stuff, all of this stuff can be found on our online video library. We have an amazing YouTube channel that we have put together this year that has all of this information, all the videos that you need, right? So anything that you can think of, you can go to the YouTube page and be like, oh, let me see what this is all about. You can find it there. It's all in there. So check that out if you're ever wanting to either get caught up or learn on a specific topic. Our next Working Moms Collective Zoom is July 29th at 9:30 a.m. This is for all working moms. Scan the QR code to learn more and hope to see you there. It's a 1-hour webinar. And as always, reach out to me if you are interested in any leadership opportunities with any of our offices or even just learning more about what we do. Text me, email me, send a pigeon, whatever you want. All right, David, let's hear what is going on in the market today. Tell us all the good things.
All right. So we have a whole bunch of stats available through the network that you can get. So what I'm going to talk about here, we'll call it a supplement to that because it's some important information that's a good add-on. So a lot of you know I like to track pending information. And so we get a lot of stats out there that are based on closed transactions, but we don't get a lot of information on the pending transactions. And the pending transactions really represents the pulse of the market. Closed transaction tells us what's happened, a month prior to that, to that stat, but the pending data tells us what's happening in the moment. So this graph I like because if you look at the lines, the green line is the days on market for transactions that closed each month, and the red line is days on market for transactions that went pending that month. And I brought it up here. It's kind of interesting if you look at the last 2 months on the right side, and you start thinking about it and thinking, okay, well, the pending days on market for May was 33, then the closed days on market should be pretty close to that for June, right? Because most transactions that went pending in May would close in June. Not all, but most, right? So then it brings the question of, well, if it was 33 days for pending transactions in May, why was it 30 days for closed transactions? We never even had a pended transaction days on market of 30 days this year, right? So the answer to that is actually, we've discovered, is terminated transactions. So what happens is, as we'll see we'll talk about in a couple of minutes, is transactions that terminate tend to have a higher days on market. So when we look at the days on market for closed transactions, those are the ones that actually did not terminate. Those are the ones that actually closed. But what we see is a couple months, usually spring, summer time period, we'll have a couple months where that green line, the days on market for closed transactions, actually dips below the red line for pending transactions. But what that means is that we basically hit bottom for days on market. And as we can see from the pending transaction days on market going up, the closed transaction days on market is going to go up. We can predict that next month, the days on market for closed transactions will be higher than this month, based on the direction for pending. So this is the information that we can give buyers and sellers to help them understand what's happening in the market now. Because if we look at just the closed days on market and we say, wow, went from 35 down to 31 down to 30, wow, we're in a great market, is days on market is going down, but actually right now as of today, days on market is going up, not down. And that's why we like to look at the pending transaction information for days on market to help us understand what is actually going on right now, not what happened in the past, right? Okay, let's look at the specific numbers here for this last month. So 30 days on market. Now, these are for the 8 primary counties. There are a couple counties that aren't covered, I'm sure that some of you work in, but we have the primary 8 counties that our offices are based in. And we've been sitting at 30 days on market for last month and in the month before as well, too. So no change on that for closed transactions. But then we see the average days on market for pending transactions went up by a couple days. And then one key one is that 36% of the listings that came on the market last month went pending in a week or less, 1 week or less. So about 1 out of 3, right? Which actually isn't too bad. It isn't as good as we've had in the past, but still we have 1 out of 3 that are selling in 7 days or less across these 8 counties. But the key is, and this is key information for sellers especially, is for the ones that didn't sell in the first 7 days, they fall into a new statistical group of 52 days on market. So we may be 30 days on market overall, but for any seller that doesn't have their properties go pending in the first 7 days, they're in that category of 52 days on market average. So that's where you ask the seller, how important is it for you to get your home sold quick? And know that if it didn't sell in the first 7 days, statistically, it could stay on the market longer than they think. So that's the importance of pricing it right. And by the way, too, you might notice I've added condos to the bottom as well, too. So those of you who work in the condo market a bit can see the comparable stats, too, for condos specifically. All right, let's look at terminated transactions. So this is what I mentioned earlier. 13% of transactions that went pending last month were terminated. They fell through. That's about 1 out of 8. Now that's pretty average, as you can see, in our current market is pretty average for spring and summer. I keep this graph to show that we usually have a lower percentage of transactions that terminate in spring and summer than in the winter time. So we know that this might stay at 13, 14, 12% plus or minus for the next couple of months, but we can expect it to spike up probably around November or December, right? Because more transactions tend to fall through, but still 1 out of 8 seems pretty high. But that's just the state of our market right now. But the key thing is that second one, the average days on market for those terminated transactions. Of that 13% that terminated, if we took just that group, that's 61 days on market. Right, so sellers need to understand that the longer their listing stays on the market, the higher the risk is that when they do get an offer, that it could fall through. So it's going to be a little bit, might take more work to keep it together, but that's important to know, right? Because a seller that's like, yeah, we'll just wait it out, right? They're increasing the odds of the transaction falling through once they do get an offer, right? Okay, so let's look at the pending transaction insights. This is from NWMLS. And if we look at multiple offers, 26%, about 1 out of 4 properties had multiple offers. 11% had an escalation addendum. Those are the ones that went pending with an escalation addendum. So we probably had a bit more than that actually started with one. But then 49%, or basically half, had an inspection addendum. Now, some of you guys might be noticing that 1 out of 4 had multiple offers, and 2 out of 4 had inspection contingencies. What about the other 1 out of 4 that wasn't a multiple offer and didn't have an inspection contingency, right? So the best that we can tell, that's a result of, in a lot of cases, seller procured pre-inspections. Because these are single family. These aren't like land deals. But we're seeing a lot of seller procured pre-inspections. And just a little warning here, just because something has become a common practice in our industry doesn't necessarily mean it's the best practice. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of buyers that are depending on the seller procured pre-inspection and calling that good enough, right? And so what we want to watch for is like if we're representing the buyer, it's still on us to advise our buyer to do an inspection, have an inspection contingency, and then they can say no if they choose to, right? But that's what I wanted to note on that, comparing those two stats, the multiple offers versus inspection addendums. And then the last one, the financing addendum. The reason I had that on there is those are the ones that generally have a financing contingency. In our current market, we do not see many people waiving the financing contingency. And so we can assume that the vast majority of that remainder, that 29%, is probably cash buyers, pretty close to that. The reason this is important is because as long as that number hovers anywhere from about 68 to 72, means we have a low percentage of first-time home buyers out there. Because first-time home buyers generally finance their properties. They generally have a financing contingency in there. And until we see that go up to 75, 80%, that means our market is missing a lot of first-time home buyers. It means affordability is an issue. Because normally in a balanced market of first-time home buyers versus non-first-time home buyers, we just see that percentage be 75, 80%. So that's a significance of that to watch for. All right. Next slide. Oops. Okay. So some of you know, and some of you have used these. The productivity coaching program has a certified open house agents list and a certified showing agents list. And we have in the productivity coaching program a training process that agents can optionally go through who are in the productivity coaching program. They take a test, they do the training, they pass the test, then they're certified to hold open houses, or alternately, if they go through the other track, certified to show homes for other agents. So what we have is if you scan the QR code, save the page, because that's going to stay the same all the time. That's the list of the certified open house agents. And the right one is the list of the certified showing agents. So these are vetted through the productivity coaching program. They're available to anybody. So if you have an open house and you're looking for someone to hold it in the particular area where your listing is, then grab someone off that list, add their contact information. Same for showing agents. If you need a showing, you can't make it, it's a little bit far to drive, grab that showing agent list as well too. And that's all I have.
And I mean, I can't say enough how you should have somebody from that list, right? Because you want somebody that is vetted and has a little bit of experience, or at least has been through some sort of training that that the coaching program is endorsing them, right? So that you have somebody you can trust doing those things.
Yeah, and they're trained on what to do and what not to do as well too.
Yes, just as important. Awesome. Thanks, David. All right, Genine, what do you got for us today, our Director of Compliance?
Good morning. So, State Bill 6091. If you have not followed this, now is the time. So this passed and went into law in June 11th. That says we are not allowed to pre-market any listing whatsoever, whether a 1A for us is signed or not. Now, a seller has a restriction that's newer. Once the 1A is signed, the seller cannot pre-market their own property. They can't talk to their neighbors. They can't post on their social media posts. So if they want to do any of that, it has been prior to signing a 1A. It strictly is prohibited on real estate, or excuse me, on residential, but not commercial. Commercial is exempt from this law. For sale by owners, if they want to really do a for sale by owner, not the type where they hire Chris Nye and for sale by owner and it goes into the MLS, then they are not allowed to pre-market for their properties either, but that's not going to affect us. That'll affect Chris Nye's product. So I'm not worried about that. The biggest thing will be Form 47. We are going to have to scrutinize a lot harder as designated brokers to figure out why you're using a 47. In the past, it was something as simple as David is contacted by his neighbor who has a piece of vacant land. Hey, David, do you know any builders? I know you're in the business. And so David would sign a Form 47, which is a seller representation, one identified buyer, no marketing. But David could go out to that one buyer, because he's not going to market to anybody else. He's just going to market to JC, who buys vacant land, and maybe put the deal together. Today, that is now illegal. The only way a 47 can be used is if I'm out door knocking. I'm, let's say, in Tam-O-Shanter. They've got a lot of easy homes for maybe an older generation, meaning ramblers, ranches, whatever you want to call it. I'm door knocking specifically ramblers for my elderly parents who don't want stairs anymore. And I knock on David's door, and David opens the door. Hey, are you thinking about selling? And he says yes. That is when a 47 can be used. That is the only time a 47 can be used, is if the buyer comes to the seller, not the seller to the buyer. So the big change in things that we've done in the past, it's going to affect our builders. Now, again, we have to figure out how the state's going to figure all of this out. I think that the law is going to get rewritten. I think they slapped lipstick on a pig so they could get something out there, get it posted to probably, I'm guessing, try to stomp down the whole Compass thing that they're doing, Northwest MLS lawsuit and Compass lawsuit, Zillow lawsuit, all of those things. So I think things will eventually change once they figure out how badly and poorly this law was written. But it does technically state that if you go into new construction and you see a giant flat board or a white board and it says all of these properties are available, but you only see 2 listings on the Northwest MLS, the builder has now, and the listing agent have now violated the law, and they could get fined, they could get their license suspended, whatever they're going to figure out. I think we're going to get our hands slapped first round. I think as time goes on, they'll either start suspending licenses because it is a law, or maybe imposing the $5,000 fine that they always threaten us with. So be very, very careful. If you think you need to use a Form 47, call your designated broker first, give them the background, and we'll tell you if you can use it or not. It is very rare that that can happen. I have had 2 situations, one in Kirkland, one in Tacoma, and it actually worked out. 47 was the perfect form to use. The buyer came to the seller. Okay, that's how you need to realize Form 47 is going to work. The buyer comes to the seller. Still remember that you cannot do transactions where David and Lena are brother and sister, and David wants to buy Lena's property. They've negotiated everything, and Genine, will you come write this up? No, at that point now I'm practicing law because they've negotiated all the terms. I've given them no brokerage services. I haven't talked to either of them in months. I haven't done a CMA. Before they started talking, Lena wasn't my buyer, or whatever the situation was. So again, when you're trying to just do paperwork to get paid, realize that is a violation of the law as well. Not this law, but the other state law about practicing as an attorney when you don't have an attorney's license. Next slide, please. Commissions. Please remember that commissions need to be done inside command. When you're in your opportunity, use the offer tab. If you don't know what that is, go look at it, go play with it, go touch it a little bit, practice with it, do a test run, whatever you need to do. Call your MCA if you don't know what to do past that. Some designated brokers might know what you need to do. If you're on the listing side, just know the listing has to be in KWLS in order for it to be tagged. Otherwise, you're going to have to enter it manually. So that will be a little snafu that catches people off guards here and there. Do your commission tab early rather than later. Once you've passed at least inspection, do your commission tab, do your offer tab. That way, especially if the seller's paying part of the commission, buyer's paying part of the commission, all of that gets wrapped into the DA and it gets sent out to escrow, especially if there needs to be revisions, because the minute that it's done, you're going to get a copy, escrow gets a copy, sometimes the MCA gets a copy, sometimes the DB gets a copy if it needs to have wiring approval. So getting that done early. Commission distribution. The DBs are the only one that can sign these. So you'll notice when you do get your DAs, your DB is the one that signed it. We do not use Form 40 for a reason. It is restricted to be used in all of our firms. You must use the offer tab that puts your numbers into command. It gives us your numbers at the end of the year so we can help you through your budgeting and what you want to do later on. So making sure that Form 40 never is used. And there's no reason you should ever sign those. The fact that escrow will allow that actually floors me. So we will get in trouble as designated brokers if we have not signed the DAs. Wire approvals, only the designated broker can do wire approvals. You have to see your DB for the process. Everybody has the same process. Some offices don't allow it for pure safety. So don't assume that one office says it's okay and another one doesn't. Just know that we also are not doing the wire. We have a process to do it where we give approval to escrow. then escrow will get your wiring instructions. We will never give your wiring instructions. We cannot do direct deposits. None of that can happen at the office level. It has to happen at escrow. If you do want to wire, you must have your file completely all green approved no sooner than 5 days before the closing date. And realize that if you use the or sooner with your closing date, it's going to put a stop on a lot of things because we don't know if that closing date is going to move. So if it says July 28th or sooner, just know it's going to be returned so we can monitor that. And we're going to have to wait for the settlement statement to make sure that the date did not move. The or sooner does us no good. Does it put maybe a seller's mind at ease that, oh, maybe I'll close earlier, or a buyer? Maybe. You still have to have a modification of closing date in order to change from the 28th to any other date, whether it's sooner or later. If you close on the 28th, great. No harm, no foul. Okay. I think I have one more slide, maybe. Nope, I'm done. Okay. Any questions about the State Bill 6091 or commissions and making sure that you get paid and get paid timely? The earliest you can upload texts and emails is 5 days prior to closing.
Genine, we got
a question
in the room.
Okay.
It's about like a rental. Like as a client, I met a client or potential buyer in an open house, and she has to by September. And I was absolutely not aware that we offer rentals too. I just want to ask how real estate brokers like make commissions with rentals.
Oh,
So, if I'm understanding you correctly, you want to know if you can help a tenant get a rental?
Exactly. Yes. If I could in the future, now she found something. I think I was just too late because I was not aware I could help. But my question is like, for example, she has a month-to-month lease or potential if someone signs like a year or two, how we agents get commissions on that and how much is it? Is there like a regulation?
There is no regulation. Please just remember, when we talk about commissions, there is no set on anything because that would be an antitrust and that's a federal offense and we could get fined and go to jail. So be very careful when you talk about commissions and set or standards or any type of that language. Everything is negotiable and it's up to the landlord to say, I'm willing to pay a tenant rep X, maybe 1 month's rent, maybe a quarter month's rent. The listing or lease, the landlord brokerage will send us a check. You might have to do an invoice, which Liz or whoever your MCA is can help you with that if we need to create one. And it takes a very long time for those to get paid out. So knowing that there's not a lot of leases listed in the Northwest MLS, that's hard to say. And you might find something on a Zillow or something else. But again, with the new law going into effect, all leases, if it's going to be represented by a broker, then those leases have to be put into the MLS based on the new law today. So there should be a lot more coming on. So I can't go, I used to be able to go just to Zillow and post a lease for a condominium in Bellevue. Tenants come in, usually the landlord takes care of the application and all of that. But now today, if I'm going to represent a landlord, I have to put it into the Northwest MLS as a lease. Commercial is the only thing that is exempt. Residential leases and purchases and sales are not.
Oh, I missed it. Okay, it's a whole topic. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Yep, one more question. Shouldn't email communications include the closed and recorded email? What's the standard? What should there be in there? The DOL says I have to give them a splattering of emails and text messages. We already have your uploaded settlement statement and checks because that comes to the office. The MCA uploads that or the MCAC uploads that, takes care of that. So we have that, which is a requirement I have to give to the state on an audit. They are not going to go through 15 files, all text messages and all emails to see if I am missing something. So I have created the 5-day rule with the conversations I've had with the investigators at the DOL. So 5 days before closing, upload your emails and text messages. If you want to upload anything from those last 5 days, put them in custom folders. They'll be safe there. We'll be happy to store them for you.
Anything else? Okay. Thanks,
Thanks, guys.
Janine. And remember, you guys, this is all on the hub. All of these videos are also on our YouTube page. So Janine has talked about these new forms. She's talked about all of the contract stuff, that's all on there. So just be aware that if you need any information or you think that you missed something, you can even watch this recording again and see it all again. So it's all there. Okay. Thanks, Jean. Awesome. All right, Haley. No envoy on, right? Okay. We're going to dive in then. We have a social media panel for you guys today, and we have a few of our amazing agents on here that Haley is going to bring up so that we can spotlight their amazing faces. And we're gonna pick their brains a little bit on their social media. So I'll wait till she kind of pins them all. But we asked a few of these people to be on because they have great social media presence. They're doing a lot of cool things. I know that some people on here have a lot of views on their social media as well. And so I really wanted to kind of have them share, maybe not all of their tips and tricks and secrets, but they were willing to come on here and share some information with us. Do we have one more? John, was your son coming or do we?
He is on the call, but he's not on video. So he's at a computer actually that doesn't have video on it. So I think he may text me if he has more input.
Okay, nope, that's totally fine. Okay, and then if anybody else has questions, they can drop them in the chat, or if they have their own experience and answers and they want to chime in also. Oh, Jeremiah says, I'm here and I can unmute.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Great. I'll put an input as well.
Okay, awesome. Well, the first question that I wanted to ask, I do have a list of questions, and so we can kind of, popcorn around or whatever. But first thing, let's go with one mistake. If you were giving advice to somebody who was starting today to like, oh my gosh, I need to build my social media so I can be just as cool as Ashley and John and to all these people. If I can do it just as well, what is one piece of advice that you would give somebody who wants to expand on their social media, maybe a mistake that you made or something not to do? What would that be? And anybody can go first. Oh, Ashley threw her hand up and
I have an answer.
Okay.
I think one of the biggest mistakes you will make is just not starting. Like you just have to start posting. You just have to start making those videos, even if they're not good. And you just get better and better over time. I think that stops a lot of people.
Ditto.
That's great advice. John, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying ditto. That's great. What was coming to mind also is trying to be too slick. Using AI incorrectly. I mean, you can use AI and do some amazing things with it, but if it looks like AI, it often doesn't get many views. So use AI to have the conversation beforehand about what your content's going to be, and that can be very helpful to use it as the thought partner rather than as the creator. That's been my experience. But if it looks like it's AI, we get very low views. If it's kind of, a little rough around the edges and us talking and especially outside and multiple people, much likely to get a lot more views. So don't try to be super professional. Don't be sloppy, but yeah.
Okay. I do have a really quick question that each one of you can also answer when you speak, but what is your go-to social media? Like, is it just one of them or are you on I'm sure you're on multiple platforms, but is there one that you're constantly posting on? John, we'll go with you first since you're unmuted.
Sure. So we try to do twice a week, Wednesdays and Fridays. We're doing basically starting from Instagram, but then any other the meta platforms, basically we're going from Instagram to Facebook, and then sometimes there's some stuff that comes through on Threads. And at the same time, usually a little later, and Jeremiah, you can tell me what the schedule is because I don't even know this exactly, but we usually do the same content on YouTube a little later in the day. I think it is but still on Wednesdays and Fridays is our standard.
Yeah,
Okay.
we
We were
do
doing
like
three main. Excuse me. Go ahead,
yeah,
Jeremiah.
2:30 p.m. is our Facebook and Instagram. 5:15 p.m. is our YouTube, and we've primarily done YouTube Shorts. Um, and we use Canva to add music because music is a very nice thing, I think, that makes the video more fun to watch, even if it's just a talking head video, with some with captions. Music makes the difference. We learned that YouTube will reject it if it's longer than a minute, but if it's less than 60 seconds and has music that you've added from Canva, it works. So typically our shorts are less than 60 seconds, and we do them also on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay. JC, hi.
Hi. So I want to answer that first question initially. What is one mistake?
Yeah.
Or answer that question, ask that question
Yes.
again.
Gosh. Yeah, it was if you were giving advice to somebody starting today,
Uh-huh.
what's maybe one mistake you made early on that you would tell people to avoid, or I guess something to focus on first if they were starting right now to grow it?
Yes, and I agree with Ashley and John. Actually, I wanted to say that first, what Ashley was saying, but if there's one other thing that I would say is practice speaking to the camera. Even if you're not going to post, just record it. You may find another time to post it later, or it could be one of those progress videos where you're like, this is where I started and here I am now, but keep on practicing and you will get better. Practice makes perfect, but don't aim for perfect to start posting.
Okay, love it. And then what are you on primarily? Instagram?
Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Facebook's actually been picking up, trying to get more on LinkedIn and YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ashley, what are you on?
I use mostly Facebook. And I think kind of what John was saying, you can actually set up Facebook and Instagram to like cross post between your accounts.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, mostly Facebook. I do use YouTube, but mostly Facebook. Like
Okay.
that's it.
Cross post all across.
Nice. Okay, okay. I
Yes.
like it. Um, for you guys that are doing the cross posts, but also the YouTube shorts and like reels, are you using the same 60-second clip or less for your reels on Instagram, your Facebook stories, your YouTube shorts? Are those all the same video? You're just repopulating in all the places?
I I can answer that one. I definitely repost everywhere. Before seemed to be a different strategy for each platform. Right now, you just never know which video is going to pop off on one account versus the other.
Okay. Are you using same tags on everything?
Same tags and same captions.
Okay. Okay.
What
Okay.
I can I throw in one exception?
Yeah.
What we've done sometimes is we've had a little longer when we've used YouTube non-shorts, where we've
Mm.
actually, like when Whatcom County had this big thing with water adjudication, and we did a longer video where we actually videoed it in the car while we were driving. I was driving, Jeremiah was talking, and we did a long form one, and but then we posted a little of that. Well, we posted the whole thing to our monthly newsletter, and so we were driving videos through the newsletter to YouTube, so that you can do a lot of different sorts of things that way.
So you put the video in your monthly newsletter too,
It was on Jeremiah. Say how it was
or like a
done.
link.
You'll say it better than I did. I
Yeah,
will.
we'll just use the MailChimp feature where you can add a video. So it has like the play button, and it looks,
Right.
obviously you can't play it in the email, but it almost looks like you can. You click it, and then it'll open up YouTube, and we just have a thumbnail in the email with a play button
Okay. Got it. Love it. Okay, next question, you guys. This is for all of you. What percentage is your social media content real estate related versus personal or other? Dare I ask? I don't know what other would be, but personal versus real estate. No,
I know
cricket.
It's a hard
a
call.
percent is a hard number.
Right.
Okay. So maybe
But
not, maybe not an exact.
if I think for a second, I could probably tell you.
So maybe not exact video, but is it like kind of even both, or is it heavily real estate with a little bit of personal, or do you do no personal and all business? You know what I mean? Like, what's the
Real
what?
estate is a lifestyle, is my answer. Like everything can be both personal and real estate. Like the real
especially
estate
for
things
us.
should be personal, right? But personal things can also have a real estate element. So it
Okay.
depends on how you define it.
So we're super sphere heavy business right now. We're working to expand more beyond sphere to use this to drive leads coming in. I want to throw in a distinction. Are you using real estate to be top of mind or using real estate to draw in leads? And I
You
assume
mean
both.
social media?
I'm sorry. Thank you. Social media. Are you using social media to get leads or using social media to be top of mind? And for us, my family is heavily involved in my real estate business, and so they're part of the social media that's going out there. And so there's a lot of overlap. But some of our best ones have been ones where, like we did one the other day about my wife becoming an American citizen. It was the 3rd of July. I was putting up a flag. That's one of our best viewed ones ever. But most of the people who see it know that we're in real estate. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. What about you, Ashley?
Mostly personal if I had to like categorize it.
Yeah.
So I would say like direct post of like a listing or like an open house or something like that is a lot less. Like
Right.
it's mostly personal. And I think to John's question, if you're trying to lead generate specifically with like an open house or something, I think that's a different question as opposed to nurturing relationships with your sphere.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you get people on your social media like database, then it like the social media is like building a relationship and warming those people up to you without you having to do anything really.
Right.
I mean, you're posting and you're putting
Right.
your personal life out there, but what I've noticed is like now people will just like see me on the street and they'll be like, hey, oh my God, it's been so long since I've seen you. And like this could be like someone who I've maybe met like one time in person and they're like, let's hug,
Ah,
and like I feel like that's like the kind of like trust that you really
right.
want.
Because they feel like they
Um,
know you from seeing it all, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah. And so it's really like nurtured relationships. And so
Yeah.
that's why I would say, it might even be it might even be like 80%, 90%, like pretty high personal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
JC, what about you?
I would say a 70-30 split is pretty okay, and 30 being the business on a hard sell conversation for those types of content that are, hey, if you want this home, if you need this service, if you want more information about that are more sales related, and then all of the personal, like John had mentioned, has a way of bringing in real estate, but it's not, of course, mainly about real estate. So the personal for us that we manage content and content that we put out as well, even with the personal content, it has a little bit of a real estate spin on it. The most successful posts that we've seen are ones that include a personal perspective. So as long as all of that mix kind of ties in what I think, or even if you're sharing advice, saying it from this is where I stand on this set topic, that becomes just much more of a way for people to connect with you and then see you as that authority figure.
Right. Love it. Okay. Um, so into kind of more of the content, I mean, we discussed, real estate versus personal, but I'm curious, do you plan all of your content in advance? Do you plan it out for the week? Do you have like a calendar? How are you guys planning it? Or are you just like, I'm gonna do a video right now while I'm in the car driving, like spur of the moment? How does that look?
Plan ahead.
Plan ahead. Do you
So
do it for the week?
what
Yeah.
we do is at the beginning of the year, we kind of mapped out what we want to do. And that's changed a lot since then, but it
For
was
the
a plan to
year?
help us think we're going to be doing something all through the year. And
Wow.
then we got so it's often said content is king, consistency is queen. I think I may have even heard it the other way around because getting out there consistently is so important. But what we do is we meet on Monday, we decide what is the Wednesday and Friday, and that's not chiseled in stone. Sometimes we've done like the 4th of July, we did a whole bunch of stuff on Saturday because we were involved in some events. But we are framing what we're doing for the week on Monday and making assignments, who's doing what. Sometimes Jeremiah will put together a script for me to be on screen, and then he's doing drone videos, and then my daughter does the Canva work basically throughout the course of the week. So we have a pretty consistent schedule, and it keeps us honest. It's like what's coming up this week?
Right, right. I love that you plan it out. I mean, for the year, even like topically, that's great. Um, Ashley.
I would say on the business side, I try to plan those posts. I think kind of echoing what John says, like having a little bit of flexibility because, you might say, oh, I'm going to host this open house or I'm going to do this thing. And that might not necessarily have been like planned in your like weekly social media posts. But on the business side, I plan that. And then for the personal stuff, I just plan to post everything I go to. So,
Right, right,
I'm not really
right,
like thinking it through. It's like,
right.
right now I'm like parked waiting for my daughter to finish a bike riding class. There will be a post on that.
Yeah. Okay, so
But I didn't know it was going to be a bike riding class
right,
at the beginning of the year.
right. So okay, second part then, and I'm just going to stick with Ashley right now since I'm already talking to you. Do you just hit record and go, or do you just or do you plan what you're going to say if it's a video, or are you doing more, you know what I mean?
That's a good question. Okay, so I think for the business ones, if it's a specific topic and I want to have like a very specific language, yes, I will plan and like script it out and practice it and make sure I'm saying exactly what I want to say. If I'm just with my kids or I'm at like a random coffee shop doing something, I don't worry about it too much. I just get it
Okay.
out. I think the most important thing is for it to appear in someone's feed.
Right. And then I guess the next part to this same topic really for you guys is when you're posting it, whether it's scripted or on the fly, are you just posting the video raw or are you editing it heavily, piecing it together and making it look like one of those, heavily edited, pieced together with like the captions and da da da?
I would love to jump in on this one.
Okay, go.
So the 3 types of videos that we would create is talking head videos, B-rolls, and trends. So from a month's perspective, you can definitely plan out the scripted videos where you're talking directly to the camera. You know what to say. You definitely want to talk about X, Y, and Z. That is evergreen. So you can post it at any time. The reels and trends, B-roll stuff that you may get from inspiration that you see online may be time sensitive. So all of it is planned out a month in advance. And at the beginning of the week, I go in and see, okay, how can I position this so that it is timely? And how can I send everything out so that it is relevant and has the most updated information. So for that, I see super important because in real estate, things change so quickly and people's attention can go from one thing to another, or a trend can be popular today and not next week, and now it's old. So we try to play along with that to make things work best.
And are you doing a certain number of each type of video?
At minimum 10 videos per month. So five each, or if we can add on more, then definitely do that.
And are you mixing the B-roll with the scripted, or are you doing just heavy talking head scripted and then
Mixing talking head and scripted videos? And for the B-roll clips, it's just clips that we have repurposed really from shooting an open house, shooting the talking head videos, behind the scenes, whatever it is. The main purpose is just to put a captivating text on screen. That may be a hook that's like, oh, don't do this, but in the caption, do exactly this. So it's more about kind of like that recipe of having the attention grabbing part or piece of a video and giving as much information as possible. And for the talking head videos, that may be a little bit heavier edited. all the information is in the video. So
Susie put a question in the chat that says, what are the most important tags to use?
to I would say 5 tags minimum these days because the algorithm can pick up on all of the keywords in the text and what you're saying. So the most important ones would be what is important in the video. What is it talking about? Where are you located? What profession are you in? Real estate, realtor. Use one, not all.
Right. Okay. How do you get
Can
your
I
videos?
throw in one thing there?
Yep.
Also, tagging multiple people if you can, if it makes sense. Tagging people who are involved. That is also the ones that we've had do the best are ones where we've got multiple people tagged.
Okay, because then they can post it too.
Well,
the algorithm finds it. If they accept it, then it's going out through them, but other people are finding it. It goes into their entire sphere. I don't know how it works.
yeah,
But
thank
it
you. There, I was
does.
gonna echo that, John. You tag people so that you can have your content in front of their friends.
Right.
Mm,
Yeah, because
got
you're trying to
it.
make new friends.
Hey,
That's the
right.
point. I
Always.
think that's the biggest point here, making new friends online.
Getting the people to follow you. Okay, so how are
And
you
wait,
getting?
sorry. Let me add one more thing. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just want to jump in on the editing of the video. I do not heavily edit my videos. So I just want to say that so people don't feel like they have to like hire a video editor or whatever just to post something about open houses or whatever.
Right.
Right. Okay.
You can just do it. Like if I have a listing video, for example, I hire a professional photographer and videographer to painstakingly put that video together.
Yeah.
If I'm just gonna like talk really quick about 3 mistakes a buyer's making, like I usually just bust it out. Like,
Right.
yeah, just get it out.
Right.
I
Okay. Are you guys, so we have 6 minutes. I want to hit a couple quick, good questions, I feel like. One, are you doing it yourselves or are you using any tools, assistants? What are those tools that you're using?
I
So
use
I mentioned
CapCut and an
before,
iPhone.
yeah. Sorry, Ashley.
Yeah,
What,
go
an
ahead.
iPhone?
CapCut and an iPhone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What we do is we're just use our Androids. We're using for scripts that we come up with, it's mainly ChatGPT and Gemini, more ChatGPT. We're using Canva, and you can get a really good version of Canva right from using your KW email address. We
Yep.
use different members of my team to do different things. And one I didn't mention earlier is my wife comes in for our Monday meetings where we're doing the planning for the week, and her presence there makes it more likely that the meeting is going to happen and that it stays on track. And she keeps Jeremiah and me in on track there. And she texts Jeremiah and says, "So what's the video coming out today on Wednesday morning and again on Friday morning?" So it's yeah. But as I want to totally say, when you're starting, don't think about what you're going to do down the road. Get started. Just start. In my very first video, I went outside. It was actually at a bold. I went outside, walked around the field, talked about some of the events of the day, and I got 800 views like
Wow.
that on Instagram. I just set up a new account on Instagram, and it was a beautiful blue sky in October in no November in Washington. That helped, which is sort of rare. But anyway.
Love it. JC, what are you using?
use my phone a lot. I still use it even though I have a professional camera. I use the professional camera for, like Ashley, you said, listing videos, some talking head videos might need that like polished look, but it is definitely not necessary. Editing with CapCut is great. Editing with the Edits app is amazing. It gives you the analytics. That's an extension of Instagram. So it kind of helps you translate those saved videos into your videos where you can edit that same format. So I
And
would
that's
say
free.
it's free. Those,
It's,
yes. And CapCut
um,
too. I mean Canva.
yeah.
Canva, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you use anything, any sort of tool for your posting, like a calendar posting, or I know Canva has like the, plan ahead and you can post them automatically.
Yes, absolutely recommend Metricool. It is a free tool. You can connect one of every platform, and you would be surprised. These posts that we can share on Google will attract more people too. So post on Google, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. That is one of my favorite tools. And if you need a place to house everything, because as John mentioned in the beginning, you're throwing spaghetti at the wall. You're posting as many times as you can, as many content as you can, at minimum 10, to stay relevant and consistent. People want to see you at least 7 times or more to be familiar with who you are. So playing along with that law of familiarity, post at least 7 to 10. And when you hit that point where you want to push more, absolutely, it will bring more people to you. That point, maybe it would be great to invest in a project management board like Asana to put everything in order, just to make life easier, more manageable, and maybe an assistant too. We have a team that helps us pump out as many content as possible. So
You have a whole marketing team.
I have a whole marketing team.
Yep.
We pump out at least that.
Jeremiah asked, what do you mean by post on Google?
So posting on Google My Business. So if you connect your Google My Business, you can absolutely share your flyers for open houses, any announcements that you can. Graphics are mainly the posting on that platform.
Love it. Okay. 2 minutes left. One word answer, reels or stories? Which are you doing? Or both?
Aren't they the same? Come on.
I know.
They're kind of the same. You got to have stories. So it doesn't really matter what it is.
just
The story could be
consistency.
a flyer. Yeah, a picture.
Right, that's true. JC thought about that.
Reels.
But then you post reel to your story?
Yes.
Okay. And let's see. I'm trying to pick one more really good one for the last 30 seconds. What kind of call of action works best to get responses? Anything? Do you do any call to actions in it? In your video?
If you're having trouble, if you're kind of talking about something that's leaning towards, like, if you're having trouble, message me, send me a DM, things like that. But it really pertains to the topic of the video itself.
Right. Topical. Okay.
And just one of our topics is where am I? Go someplace, take a video, and say where am I? And the thing I didn't throw in is we use drone as well, a fair amount. Not too much drone. Too much drone is actually not good, but a little drone used well can be really good. And then where am I? And have people give some responses. That's fun.
I like that.
Jordan, your hand's up.
Just one comment on the stories versus reels conversation.
Yeah.
Important to understand that Instagram switched up its algorithm pretty recently to where your stories are primarily going to be displayed to your followers. So there's not as much opportunity to grow your audience through stories. You're going to be more so hitting your followers. And so reels are going to be how you gain new audience followers.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. All right.
We find about 70% of the people who are looking at ours are non-followers. So I'm not sure how we're doing it, Jeremiah. You tell them. But we're getting a lot of non-followers, which is cool.
With your story feed?
I don't know.
No, it's not with our stories. It's with our reels. And the hashtags probably help.
Nice. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, it is noon 12:01. So I appreciate you guys being here for the panel. So appreciate you. If anybody else wants to see a specific panel on our network meetings, message me and we will make it happen. Thank you all for being here. Here are the QR codes for the open house agents and showing agents. Scan these if you want to find some certified people to help you out, and enjoy the weather and have a great day, you guys. Bye.
Thanks, Lena. Thanks, everyone.